Hey guys, good afternoon and good morning to you if you're just waking up. So today I'm just hopping in for my weekly topics that I do usually do. And this week's topic, I just wanted to talk about the topic of the inner critic. So recently I've just had my inner critic just show up in so many ways, and that's something I'm going to get onto as we go on through this talk. And yeah, so I'm going to start with basically an inner critic is that entity that criticizes you, judges you, and just basically wants you to just hide away from anything and everything. And its energy is primarily fear. So anything that it can do to scare you, it's gonna do because it feeds on that energy. And another thing to note is that the inner critic sometimes comes into our lives in one of the common ways it will get in and show up would be in a way that is protective, like in a way that it wants to protect us, but in a misguided way. And when it does get in, it doesn't want to get out. It's going to camouflage, it's going to put on an invisible cloak and just do all this work from sidelines, do anything so that it can be able to preserve its existence. And this is where the importance of this week's topic of the inner critic comes into play. So obviously, I don't know if any of you have had completely different experiences, but with me, a lot of things that I see on social media and how this inner critic is actually described is with the inner voice. And I don't really get the inner voice. I do get it sometimes, but it's not something that I do get on a general level when I am being critiqued by my inner critic, if that makes sense. And so what I was saying is I didn't really think that I had an inner critic because I was waiting for a voice to come through, which didn't really come through until recently during my study that I found out that actually your inner critic can take different forms, and that could be in words or the voices, which is like a general form, and it happens to a lot more people. And then it can also take pictures, in forms of pictures. It can come in form of feelings. It can come in forms of abstract concepts, and also it can come through hallucination, but that's on rare cases aside from the mental illness of schizophrenia. I always say that word so wrongly. Yeah, because of that, I didn't realize that I had my inner critic this whole entire time, and that's because my inner critic takes the form of abstract concepts and feelings. And yeah, this whole video was just to create that awareness of how sneaky your inner critic can be and how many forms it can take, and also to help you identify if this is the case for you. And if you realize, I've been referring to it as it, and that's because your inner critic is not who you are. It's not your identity, and whatever it tells you is just not who you are. So that's why it's always important to externalize it, because it takes a lot of power from it, and it also helps you easily jump out of whatever plans that it has for you. Spooky.